Hi. I just want to start by saying thank you to each and every single one of you who either donated to the Just Giving page that I set up or bought a course off me in the last month. That enabled me to go out onto the streets of Liverpool yesterday to distribute care packages to homeless people. I did intend on creating this video yesterday when I'd got home, but by the time I'd gotten home, I was both physically and mentally drained from what I'd seen and the people that I'd talked to. The most striking thing that appeared to me was their sense of community, their sense of looking after one another. Though I was handing one person a care package and they said, "Oh, would you be able to give it to my friend?" And he told me where his friend was, and he told me that he thought he needed it more than him. So even though this man had nothing, he was still wanting to take care of his friend who he's seen as needing it more than him. Of course, I gave them both the care package in the end and they were both very grateful, but they do look out for one another. I chose not to take pictures or take videos of the people that I was speaking to yesterday because people who are homeless already hit rock bottom. They shouldn't be exploited for other people's needs, but I did want to come back on and tell you a little bit about some of the people that I've helped. Sometimes we take the most basic things for granted, and homeless people face different challenges every single day. One man that I talked to said that he couldn't accept anything to eat because he had a really bad toothache and he was almost crying in pain when I was speaking to him. So I gave him some things and I asked him what else did he want, what else could I get for him? And he simply requested a box of paracetamol to stop his pain. He could have asked me for anything at all, but he wanted a 30p box of paracetamol to stop the agonising pain that he was in. Of course, homeless people don't have the money to go and visit a dentist. And this man told me that he couldn't get NHS care from a dentist because they needed a fixed address for the dentist to be able to claim that money back. And so that's something which certainly I hadn't thought about, which before I went out onto the streets is, you know how bad toothache is. I know how bad toothache is. And to not be able to do anything about that. I know that there are going to be some charities out there offering free dentistry to people who are homeless. But unless you know where to go and you know who's to contact for that type of thing, this poor man was left suffering. One woman I spoke to, she was probably in her late 20s, early 30s, something like that. She had a black eye and I asked her how she'd got the black eye. And she said that had been caused by somebody that she'd had sex with. She said that quite a few homeless women, including herself, had sex with people for money so that they could find shelter for the night. All that this woman could do throughout the time that I sat chatting with her was to apologise for bothering her, for her bothering me. Even though it was me who went up to her, she was very remorseful, very closed, constantly apologising for her very existence. And she was telling me how she'd become homeless through the death of one of her parents and that she'd turned to drugs as a way of coping with that and ultimately became homeless because of that. That lady told me that people were more giving at Christmas, that she did receive a lot more money and a lot more gifts and things that would help her out on the street off people. And part of me was so proud that such kindness exists within societies these days. But the other part of me wondered why it was so increased at Christmas. I mean, people aren't just homeless at Christmas time. Do these people help as much throughout the rest of the year? And the answer is probably not. But homeless people are homeless 365 days of the year. They don't get a break. They're out in all types of weather conditions. Whilst I was out, I talked to two people who'd served in the forces. One had served for the Navy and the other one had served for the Army. When I was chatting to the guy who'd served in the Army, I asked him how he'd come to be homeless. And he said that he'd been on a few tours and that he'd just finished a tour from Iraq. And he came home and started suffering with depression. And he was suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder. And rather than go and seek professional mental health help, he turned to alcohol to reduce his symptoms and to help him cope on a daily basis. And that ultimately led to problems in his marriage and his wife leaving him. He continued to drink and so built up more debt, which led to him being in a homeless situation. This is a man who served for our country. He's put his life on the line to protect people like me and you. And now he's on the streets with nothing. I find it so unjust that such amazing people can be out on the street, homeless and in need. It shouldn't be the case in society, and it really saddens me that it is. I believe that there are quite a few people who've served in the armed forces who are now living homeless. And we really should take better care of people within our society. Sometimes people will view homeless as somehow less than, when they're not. They're normal, everyday people with the same thoughts, the same emotions as us. I asked one person, how do you feel about everybody ignoring you? Because while I was sat with them, hundreds of people walked past. It was very busy, and they all averted eye contact with him, as I'm sure I've probably done in the past. And he just shrugged and said, oh, well, you get used to it. But you shouldn't have to get used to it. We all should work harder to just stop and say hi, even if you're not going to give them any money. Make them feel like a person, make them feel seen. Once again, thank you so much for all of your help in enabling me to go out and carry out that work yesterday. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Bye for now.